G'day everyone and welcome to Gender Critiques. It's a bit off on a tangent, but in this video I just wanted to talk briefly about external versus internal validation. Just to clarify what these two terms are. So internal validation and external validation are two main ways that you will get your self-esteem, your sense of self-worth, your ego, etc., like your confidence and shit from, right? External validation, right, that's where basically you're basing your sense of self and your sense of self-worth and esteem on other people's, other people's feedback, basically. So you're constantly putting it out there and looking to outwards of yourself to see if, am I this, am I that, am I worthy, am I smart, am I funny, am I good looking, yada yada yada. You're constantly putting it out and requiring feedback from external sources to yourself to tell you that, to base your opinion on that. Whereas internal validation is where you're not looking out. Instead of asking everyone else, am I this, that, the other, you're asking yourself, am I this, that, the other? And you're rolling with the answers, basically, So am I this, am I that? And you're asking yourself, are you this, that? And you're listening to the reply, and that's where you're getting your sense of self-worth from. So if you know that you're a good person, if you know that you're this, that, the other, that's all then you're happy. Now, of these two, on a surface level, you'd think that external validation, would probably appear to be easier, and it is, I'd say, as opposed to internal validation would probably be would probably be a tad more difficult because it requires growth and personal awareness, But here's the thing, right? If you're constantly living for external validation, if that's what you're basing your sense of who you are on, you're never ever going to fucking win, because you can't control what other people think of you. Not everyone's going to like you, not everyone's going to agree with you, not everyone's going to think you're funny, this, that, and the other, and that's okay. Not everyone has to. Their opinions don't have any power unless you allow, or unless you give them the power to, But you're never ever going to win if you're constantly trying to base your sense of self-esteem and self-confidence and shit on external sources. Because, you'll constantly be looking to sources outside of yourself to get your power. And essentially by doing that, you're giving your power away. Whereas internal validation that's when the only person you're asking these questions is yourself. So, am I this? Am I that? And you're listening to the answer, and that's where you're getting your sense of self-worth. If you know you're a good person, if you know you're this, if you know that, and then it's like you stop giving a fuck about other people's opinions, because ultimately at the end of the day, none of them matter. They don't have any power over you unless you choose to allow them to have power over you. When you learn to internally validate yourself, that's when you tap into your own power. And that's when you realise that no one else, people don't have to like you. They don't have to think this, that, the other. They can get fucked, If you're good with who you are, that's all that matters, because at the end of the day, you're the only person you have to answer to. So anyways, the reason I think this is relevant is because you'll notice with a lot of this stuff, like online social media and stuff, a lot of the TRAs and gender identitarian movement advocates, etc., and a lot of these, like the younger generation, like Gen Z, this up and coming one, you'll notice that there's a huge, there's a notable lack of inclination towards internally validating as opposed to externally validating. So these young kids that are coming up now, it seems like they don't have they haven't been instilled with the ability to internally validate themselves. It's all external validation, and which is what has led to basically groups of people having expecting the world to validate them as in order for them to feel worthwhile. Whereas it's it doesn't need to be that way. I've actually found a couple of good links, and I will put them in the description for those of you that aren't familiar with the description. If you just look at the title of this video down there, there'll be a little arrow at the end of it. If you click on that, it'll drop down, and that's where all the links and stuff are that I put for my videos. Thank you and welcome to any new subscribers, and have a great day.